Alright, guys. I have a question. What feelings course through your mind when you hear this? What emotions do you get? Okay, so everybody had some kind of positive emotion for that, right? Everyone, 110%. They knew exactly what that was for the most part, and they knew exactly how to feel about it. Cool. I'm glad that everybody here is a gamer. That makes this way easier. Keep that emotion. I'm going to ruin it for you, and I'm sorry I have to do that. Anywho, fan art real quick. This one's from Dorito. Artwork is done by Kit. Text by Dorito on MTG Cardsmith. It just Inception. It's me forcing people to play Magic because of funny lands. Thank you for your fan art submissions. I don't want to lose this joke for too long. So. The person who was responsible for that theme is Marty ODonnell. Marty ODonnell, who is responsible for the creation of, or the composing of the Halo theme, and a lot of the Halo music, is an interesting individual. So interesting, in fact, that he's trying to run for Republican office. Let's watch. Well, I tried to click the video and it didn't work. There we go. Oh my god, it's a fucking video ad. I just want... Stop! I just want to play the video.
Hey, it's Marty ODonnell. I'm running in one of the top battleground districts in the country against one of the top recipients of corporate PAC money in all of Congress, Suzy Lee. You may know me as the composer of video games like Halo and Destiny, but now I'm gearing up to do my civic duty and represent the people. I believe we need less lawyers and more composers in Washington, D.C. because too many of them stay too long and only seem to help themselves or their friends. We have what it takes to beat my Democrat opponent, Suzy Lee, but I can't do it without your help. If you can donate $7, $14, or $28, that would go a long way to help us flip our district. Thank you.
All right, so I have a question. What type of politician do you think Marty ODonnell will be? Would he be a politician for the people? Or is he a Trump supporter who talks about trans people in women's sports and how we need to protect women athletes, you know, by kicking trans women out of women's sports? I just have no idea. I just have no idea if this is a person who should be deserving of your money, if this is a person who should be deserving of your time, if this is a person who has any ability to actually run as a United States representative. Now, did he decide to go for a state representative position? No. Did he decide to go for a local office? No. He decided to go immediately into Congress with no experience whatsoever. Stav says, why are all the people I grew up looking up to horrible? Man, I have no idea. I have no idea. So the person that he's running against, Suzy Lee, is running as Democrat. Now, that doesn't mean she's a good person. That doesn't mean she's a great leader. But it does mean that she is at least in the party that is more known in the United States for protecting democracy and human rights, you know, of trans people and of gay people and of women who want to be able to have control over their own bodies. No. Marty McDonald wants to be on the side of the people who did the fascism and did a coup on the Capitol. And he even states in multiple tweets that he voted for Donald Trump and will vote for him again. He did try to also say, let me see if I can find the stuff here. Marty's the only conservative willing to fight back against the nonsense in DC. Where have I heard that before? Where have I heard, I am trying to drain the swamp? I'm sorry. I am trying to fight against corruption in DC. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fight against the nonsense in DC. Where have I heard that exact line of text before? Weird. Very strange. It said how very Trumpian. Yeah, it's the same rule book that Trump learned from. It's the exact same one. But don't worry. Don't worry. His whole point is I'm not a career politician and don't plan to be. Marty, you do understand that it's not bad to be a career politician. It's not bad to devote your entire life to the service of the American people. That's not a bad thing to do or be. But apparently it is a bad thing for him. Apparently. But don't worry. He's got some more stuff to say. Whoop. What?
From your point of view, what would you say is maybe wrong with the economy? What would you like to address if you're elected to Congress?
It's very easy to say this, but I've been saying it for years. The federal government spends way too much money and spends money on the wrong things.
Ah, yes. The basic Republican position of all time. The federal government shouldn't be spending its money. Now, I wonder if he understands that the federal government needs to spend that money on things like schools, roads, etc., and we should be actually spending more money on things like healthcare as well.
I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I have a feeling that now getting into the details and trying to figure out like how to pare back government spending, but when it comes to inflation and what people actually feel, there's only one place that inflation comes from, and that's government policy.
All right, so I'm going to continue his clip, but then we're going to showcase that he's wrong and why.
Government controls the money supply. That's where inflation comes from. It's government's fault. And frankly, if Suzy Lee says, I don't want to apologize for inflation, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm here to get Suzy Lee fired.
So, if she says she's not going to apologize for inflation, could it possibly be that Suzy Lee doesn't control inflation? Could it be that she has a healthy response to things that are not actually her fault? I don't know, something trans women in sports. But anywho, let's talk about United States inflation. Now, if what Marty ODonnell is saying is true, that it's only government policy that changes inflation rates, then we should see a pretty basic inflation rate that is consistent over the years. Republicans should have a smaller inflation rate than Democrats over the years. That's what I would expect to find, because Democratic policies would lead to higher inflation rate, and Republican policies would lead to smaller inflation rates. Gee, I wonder what we'll find when we actually look at the numbers here. Let's start back at George H.W. Bush. Actually, no, we'll start back at Reagan. The good old Reagan. Average year-over-year inflation, 4.6%. Now, you don't have any context for why that's bad. So we'll move on to George W. Bush, who got out of his presidency shortly after I was born. 4.3%. Again, you don't know why that's bad yet. So let's move on to the Clinton years, and oh, it got cut in half. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Why did the Republican presidents have the higher average year-over-year inflation rate, and the Democratic president had half of that? Then we get to George W. Bush, and it's 2.8%. It went higher again. Not by a lot, but it went higher. So I guess by the time we get to Barack Obama, the inflation rate should go back up again, right? Like, that's how it works. Democrats have higher inflation rates because they're Democrats and they spend too much money. Why does that say 1.4%? Why does Barack Obama have 1.4% inflation? Oh man, that's weird. That's so weird. I wonder if why would that be? Why do the Democrats all have, like, since Reagan, why does every Democrat have a lower inflation rate year over year? God, that's so strange. Now, when we go to Donald Trump, I wonder, does the trend of it going up continue? Oh boy, yes it does. Average year-over-year inflation, 1.9%. Inflation may have remained low, but this is an inheritance from Barack Obama's 1.4%. He started with a very low floor, and it didn't go astronomically higher. Now, I wonder if any recent events might change the last one. Let's look at Joe Biden. This is what we're feeling right now. This is a terrifying number. The year-over-year inflation rate under Biden has been 5.7%. It's been higher than anybody since Reagan. This is the exact thing that people like Marty ODonnell will try to ride on. They will try to use this as evidence that their policies, despite not being able to articulate what they are better for us, the United States citizen. But there's a couple things you have to remember. The average year-over-year inflation rate was 5.7% because Joe Biden inherited America, his presidency, during COVID. And shortly after COVID, Russia invaded Ukraine. And with Russia invading Ukraine and COVID-19 being a problem, both of those, we had gas and oil supply problems. And if we have supply problems because of gas and oil, that means the ability to ship goods around the United States gets impacted, which means that the ability for goods to maintain their same prices gets impacted because the ability for stores to get goods is impacted. And if COVID is a thing, then it's harder for stores to even sell those goods in the first place because people aren't going out and shopping as much, or they weren't near the beginning of the pandemic. Now, of course, people still went out and shopped, and places like Amazon made record buku off of people during COVID because everybody was ordering their groceries on DoorDash and stuff like that. But you still end up having less money going around because people are in the middle of a pandemic, and the goods themselves costing more because one of the main suppliers for oil that we had relations with, we aren't getting oil from because of the invasion with Ukraine. So that causes gas prices to soar. That causes inflation to go higher. Inflation under Biden peaked at 9.1%. which is the highest increase it's ever been. But again, we've got multiple wars going on right now. There's the war with between Israel, Palestine, and now Iran, apparently. And also, we've got the war in Ukraine. Yes, inflation is stupid high right now, and yes, there should be more being done about it. But putting somebody who's red in office is not magically going to fix that. There's external factors besides just government policy that have caused inflation to skyrocket. But don't worry. We'll just keep blaming specifically the government for it instead of all of the things that are happening around that are causing pressures on the government for that. And we'll run an entire platform off that, apparently. I'm disappointed finding out that Marty is running as Republican, because if you're going to run, I can understand running Republican at a local level, because at a local level, sometimes it's impossible to run as anything else and win. But if you're going to run for Congress, why do you specifically want to flip a Democrat out of their seat? What policies do you specifically want to enact that require there to be a Republican majority in Congress? If you are trying to flip the seat, then my only guess is you are trying to put in policies that we know hurt gay people, hurt trans people, lead to higher rates of inflation historically. Those are the things that you want to do. But you want to sell it as, don't worry, bros, I am a fellow gamer because I made the music for the video games you love. I would like to run under the banner of people who end up having an odd amount of white supremacists and also smoke-bombed people at the Capitol, and I vote for that man. And also, I would like you to vote for me because I don't like trans athletes. I'm sorry, you're not selling me on yourself, Marty. You really aren't. That said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Let me know if you're disappointed. Insert end the video tagline here. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.